Welcome to Somebody's Heroes. We are here with the vignette today for Cassiopeia. I'm Eric, I'm the Dungeon Master.
I'm Reno, I play Cassiopeia.
I'm Johnny. I'm playing Solarian.
Oh, we've got a repeat appearance by another person. This is going to be interesting for sure. What is Solarian doing here? We will find out as we move forward. It is the middle of summer, about 70 years before the events of the main show. So if the main show is 2025, back up 70 years, I'm not going to do math right now.
1955.
But there we go. It's 1955 in the modern reckoning. Apparently that is our calendar, the MR, the modern reckoning. Just made it up, so let's roll. You guys, today we're going to take place on the city of Tauliva. So you're right around 2,000 feet above the surface of Crater Lake, because Tauliva is a floating city. Right now, the population hovers around 100,000. And you guys are actually in the top of the city. The section we're zooming in on is actually the most run-down section. It's where some of the older buildings are. Colloquially, this area is known as the slums. Does not explicitly describe the type of people who are here all the time, but it does describe what the buildings look like and how the vibes are. So it's very dark, lights are flickering, they're not as well kept, well maintained. There are giant cracks and crevices. So you can sometimes see about 3 floors down into the brink and just see where there's makeshift bridges. In fact, Cass, you're walking across one of these bridges that you can see down this chasm that goes down these 3 floors. And you just see makeshift bridges and houses built over top of this crevice down floors below you. It is the middle of summer.
Does the crevice go like all the way down by chance?
Not all the way through the city. Just
okay.
It doesn't go all the way through the island that it is. Okay. It just goes down about 40, 50 feet. There's still another 500 feet of the brink below you. But yeah, so there's those couple of makeshift bridges, and if people fall off, they would just go splat in the bottom, and sometimes that's happened to people. Let's go ahead and start off with a perception check. This is the middle of the day, so nothing wrong here right this second, but
we're starting off with the least funny number, which is 10.
Oh, perfectly average.
Just 10.
Perfect. So you're looking down, and you feel someone actually bump into your shoulder. They spin around to look at you as they're running away. As you look to your right, you see a little old lady who is picking herself up off the floor. Stop him! He stole my coin purse! And then you look to the other side and you see a very young, spry, probably about 25, 30-year-old, hauling ass away from you. He looks back real quick, makes eye contact with you, and what does he see? What does Cass look like right at this moment?
Like physical description wise?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, okay, so she's like a mid-20s wood elf. I mean, she's a wood elf, so you don't know exactly, like mid-20s looking.
Mm-hmm.
And she's wearing like a tank top and shorts, but she's got like a real big hat on because it's always hat weather. And she is just so sweaty and uncomfortable and unhappy, and also confused because she's been ran into and shouted at in the last 10 seconds, and she's like, well, stop. You know? She's got white, fluffy hair. Like, it almost look not literally, but it reminds you of the head of a dandelion before it's ready to, like, get blown on by a child. Like, just white, fluffy hair.
Oh. Okay. Fantastic. He looks back, and he's just gonna keep running. Right now, he's only about 15 feet away from you.
There's like a half second of confused hesitation, but she's like, I guess we're doing this now, and she gives chase.
Perfect. Now, Solarian, you're walking through a different side road past this. You hear the commotion going off to the side. I'm assuming your passive is like 15 or higher.
Yeah. Indeed it is.
So you hear this commotion going on the next street. Like if you go to the next street, take a right. But you're on your way right now to a business meeting at Tautech on the other side of town. So the slums area also holds the docks. So a lot of people who want to come into the city in less presumptuous and presenting ways use the docks over in these areas, unless they're trying to conduct business, and then they can park wherever they need to. But so you're just passing through to get to your business meeting because no one needs to know you're here. And you hear this ruckus going off on the corner. And so we'll scoot right back to Cass chasing this guy.
When she gets within if she gets within about 5 feet of him, she's going for a full body tackle.
What is Cass's base speed?
35.
35. Okay, so a couple of rounds go by. You run through this street. A Tau bike, these are the Arcano bikes that some people have in the city, mounted by a Goliath in a leather jacket, revs up and drives right down the street, forcing this guy to stop or get hit.
Sounds like
stops. He stops, flicks the guy off, and says, "Motherfucker!" as he looks down towards Solarian because this bike is now passing right by you. And Cass, go ahead and make an attack roll to tackle this guy, because he got stopped for just long enough.
Okay, just an attack.
Yeah.
That'd just be a D20 then.
Yeah.
Okay.
D20 plus Dex or Strength, whichever.
Okay, we'll go with Dex, please, because, it's not great. It's still... It's 6.
So you don't hit him, but you manage to bump him in the same way he bumped you?
Can I, with that, simply grab on as a child grabs onto, just by the arm, by something? If I'm on the ground, I'm grabbing his leg, you know?
Okay, go ahead and free action, just grabbing on his fucking leg. He goes to run. The fuck?
Not going anywhere now. Give me the bag. Give me the bag.
He takes the bag and, goes to smack you with it. So he switches the grip. You can actually absolutely try and grab this bag. Do an opposed against his athletics, do an acrobatics.
Haha, I'm good at acrobatics. 23. Give me the bag.
Anything would have beaten the 2 on his die.
Give me the bag.
Just so you catch the bag. I'm assuming 2 hands because you beat him so heavily, right?
Yeah.
So you get this bag out of him. And he's like, "Fine, just let go. Fuck." And
Well,
you
she's
still
holding the
haven't let
bag.
go.
Yeah, she's holding the bag now, so...
Mm-hmm.
She's holding the bag and his leg? Yeah, she lets go. For the simplicity of holding the bag and not the leg.
Perfect. He gets far enough away, gets to the other side of the street, pulls a hand crossbow out, and just pop!
Oh god.
Shoots you while you're prone.
It's incredibly rude of him.
How dare.
That's a 15 on the die. I assume it's your first level that hits, right?
That will do it.
Okay. It's a hand crossbow. 6 points of damage.
I'm not down yet.
But now, he shot you. Solarian, if you want to interfere in this in any way, you're absolutely welcome to. As you see, he just rips his leg out, runs about 20 feet, pops the person who just got the bag back from the old lady. For the old lady, just get shot for maybe no reason, but you can do something if you want. You don't have to, though. You can just sit here and watch.
No, I think I'm gonna watch.
Perfect. Why do I right now kind of picture you leaning up against this like flickering light pole?
Yep.
Like, I have this
I just
vision.
imagined within about like 50 feet or so, he's just watching and seeing what happens. It's not every day that you get to see something like this in the city.
No.
Is there any more vehicular traffic here? Be it like the motorbikes or like
not
pedal
heavy.
bikes?
It's not heavy, but there is the occasional vehicle, mostly going down the road you guys are on the other side of traffic, so it's not stopping anybody. But you do see this little go-kart driven by a gnome.
Can I attempt to jump on the go-kart?
Sure.
I'm just trying to get
Fuck
away
it.
from the guy with the gun at this point.
Fuck it.
I'm like, I
Do
know where
it.
the lady is, I can circle back. I'm getting away from the psychopath with the gun.
So the so the go-kart is going in the same direction as to the old lady.
Okay, perfect.
So go ahead and make an acrobatics check to try and like jump on the side of this like to grab on the crossbar.
Man, you're making it way cooler than it sounds. You're making it sound way cooler than the picture in my head in which he gets up and scrambles and just jumps on the front of it.
Yeah, that's fucking hilarious. Let's go. 17? Perfect. You just scramble up, hug this go-kart.
Keep going, you're good, keep going. This is the way I want to go, keep going.
He swerves
Like,
for a
air
sec.
was sticking out of her shoulder, just like having a bad time.
He swerves for a second. He's like, "Oh my god!" and just slams on his brake before the bridge. Roll a strength saving throw for me.
6. I'm doing great.
Fun.
So remember that falling thing I said happens to some people?
Okay, so I want to frame the falling thing that happens to some people in that. Okay, so the go-kart slams on the brakes, and she does not have a good grip on the front, and is full body flung off of it. And the lady's just like on the other side of the bridge, and she does manage to kind of like toss the bag to the lady before just like
Yeah.
ragdolling off the bridge.
Perfect. This boom, boom, boom. Woo! So you're falling about 45 feet right now.
I think right about now is when I'll come in. Just look at what happened, see them fall off. Huh. And then I will walk over to the edge, and then I'll wing out and just start floating down. And
What
if
does
I can catch her, that's great. If I can't, well, oh well.
What does Solarian's wings look like to the little old lady in this gnome
they are-
right now?
They look very angelic, like bright white, even glowing. He even has like this like very light complexion, white hair, these purple eyes, and this really incredibly it's not glowing armor, but like overtaken by nature. So like there's leaves and moss and all sorts of like mushrooms that are kind of growing on it. He currently has his helmet on, which has antlers from a very large stag, and he currently has his sword at his side, his shield on his back, and he's just gonna float down, just flying down, riding the wind until maybe possibly catching Cass, maybe not.
Okay, so you're just chasing down after Cass falling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Cass, you're down about, you went down about 20 feet, and you see this angel flying down? Because Aasimar are very, very rare in this world. You know that there's a few sub-pockets, but most people don't realize that they are still alive or still exist. You've heard stories from your parents and grandparents. As elves, you guys have lived a long time, had long lifespans, but it's been 1,000 years since you've heard it. You haven't been around 1,000 years, but the last story you've heard of was over 1,000 years ago of being any kind of this.
Her what she assumes are her last thoughts. She mutters under her breath, "This isn't how I wanted to die."
Well, it doesn't seem like you will. But, and then I'll go probably about, how does Cass look at the moment? Like, not very
Just
good, right?
So profusely from the neck, and just like a little dazed, again, falling, so not having a great time. Thinks that you are the angel from which she's dead in her head. She's like, no, I'm dead. I fall, I'm angel, dead. Yeah.
This tracks.
So
This tracks. I don't
as
like it, but it tracks.
as we're flying, maybe around like 20 feet over the ground, he holds on to her and says, yeah, you should be fine, and drops her.
Oh, fantastic. You said about how far?
20 feet.
20 feet. So that's 2d6. That's a 1 on the die and a 1 on the die.
Well, good news, I had 2 health. It knocks her out.
Oh,
Incredible.
Perfectly unconscious.
So as that happens, that's when he finally finishes his descent. And then he's just gonna kind of look, first off, going to make sure that she doesn't die. Or actually,
she's stable.
No. Actually, we'll get down and kind of wake her up in her unconscious, dying state. Now, I can save you right now. I can make sure that you are alive and well.
Who shot me? What?
That doesn't matter. Listen,
Are you God?
I can be.
What's wrong with this dude?
If you accept my terms, work for me, I will give you a life worth living.
I don't know about laws, but what are the terms? I can't read a contract right now, man.
Well, then, I guess, work for me or die. Those are the terms.
She takes
Perfect.
like a half a second longer than you would expect and goes, "Alright, I guess."
Good. That was the right choice. And then I'm going to use some of my blood to heal her back.
Mhm. Okay. So you're gonna like cut your wrist, cut your arm somewhere, and just drip blood.
Now, question. So we had decided how how did we decide spawn was made?
Both bloods have to be consumed. So she has to drink your blood, and you have to seal the deal by signing your contract with her, which is the fighting yourself. Yeah, both blood transference.
I will give her a few droplets of my blood, which I will also like mix with healing hands and heal her.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, I can restore a total number of hit points equal to my. No, that's lay on hands. Healing hands is equal to my level. So you get 10 points of healing back, and then at just before the healing finishes up, I grab some of the blood left over. Well, it's done. Pleasure doing business with you. I'll keep in touch. And then I'm gonna fly away.
She doesn't actually. She's just still lying on the ground, just baffled. And she goes, "Did he just force feed me blood? And then eat mine?"
But it worked?
How do I get out of this hole?
Right now, the closest is, if you climb up about 8 feet, 10 feet, there is a ledge that you could get up to 3 floors down in the brink. And then there is an a mining elevator that you could take to get back up to the slums area, but you don't have to. You could go get yourself a drink. There are plenty of bars in the brink.
I honestly, she's gonna keep laying there for just like a couple minutes, just bathed in the last 5 minutes. She just kind of slowly sits up and looks around, touches the blood on her shoulder, the arrow that may have broken out, who knows, and she goes, "Well, nowhere to go but up, I guess," and starts climbing.
Okay. You're taking your time at this point, because you know if you fall back down.
Yeah.
Alright, so you go ahead and you do that. You climb back up, and where are you headed at this point?
You know, plans for the day be damned. It's drinking time.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. So you do know that you know the brink really well, because it is plenty of parties happen here. In fact, your friend Sid, another elf like you, owns an elven tap house. In fact, Sid is actually a druid who crafted a tree for the tap house to have a perfect elven feel. So it's actually inside the tree, on 3 floors of the tree, just a tap house that goes up. It's a tree should not be growing in the brink, by the way. There's no sunlight. They do get water, but there's no sunlight. But as you're walking through the brink, you see the houses and the rooftops and stuff. As you're going through some alleys, you see that between the houses there actually are like 2x6s, 2x8s that run between the rooftops to create an additional walkway path up there, because there's enough people who don't like to walk on the main road. And even higher than that, like 4 feet from the ceiling of this level, and most levels, right between 4 and 6 feet, there is pipes and walkways for maintenance men to use to keep an eye on the plumbing and the pipes to get the sewage out of the city and down into the lake. This is a very modernized city. Like, it's not for lack of anything. You know, if you made it home, you could get a nice hot shower and all of that. Like, it's just, wow. This is a fairly modern civilization. But as you're going into Sid's tap house, we're actually going to pan on over real quick. Solarian, as you flew up and out of that crevice, you're flying up above the slums for just a split second, and you see the vastness of the slums. It's about a fifth of the city. Off to the left-hand side, you see the actual docks and the shipping warehouses, where like the cargo airships park. Ahead of you, you see the merchant district where a lot of the sales are made. To the far right of you is the church and the wild magic. Magic is actually entirely uncontrolled over there unless it's divine. So super dangerous for arcane users over there. Everything acts like a wild magic table. Right? And then beyond that, you do see the spires of the government sector, and you can see the lights in the far distance on the other side of the city. You can see the lights coming from the academia, and you actually happen to see an explosion happening off on the far side where there is the inventors section, where you know science happens all the time. In fact, that's where you were headed. Because Tau Tech is a business, and you were headed to the R&D division, specifically to figure out what was going on.
Well, as he lands onto the ground, he'll kind of just brush off anything that may have gotten onto his armor, and then and begins walking towards that sector or section.
Mm-hmm. All right, so it takes a little while, and as you get there, this explosion actually isn't still there, but you can see the char marks and the light flames that happen post-explosion right around a giant crystalline formation. Probably about 15, the longest crystal is probably about 15 feet in length, coming out of the ground.
I will do a divine sense real quick.
Okay.
Just to see if there's any celestial fiends or undead that are at play here.
And that is within, 30, 60 feet?
60 feet.
60 feet. You do not detect any undead. You detect a little bit of divine, but it's not like celestial. There might be a cleric or something here as a medic, right?
Sure.
And then fiendish, you do detect this very small blip, but it's one you expect because one of the scientists you guys hired has an imp. So everything seems to be on the level for what you know about your explosion sector.
Okay. Well, I will look for the one that seems to be in charge of this experiment right here, and just
a male scientist, long mid-back length hair, nice auburn brown, and he's got a long beard braided. Fuck it, let's make him a dwarf. He walks up to you holding a blunderbuss. He's like, I was working on that new cartridge you guys are.
And it looks like it was a success?
It exploded. Perfectly fine. It did not destroy this crystal, though. I'll have someone look into what this crystal's made of.
Yes, please.
That explosion should have taken care of it.
Whatever this is, it seems important.
Indeed.
Is there no other updates?
Yeah, we got a few criminals that have been captured over the last 20 years.
Good.
If you need them.
Yes, please. Where are they?
Oh, they're in the cellar. Here, I'll take you.
And at that, I think that's a great place to end the session for this evening.
Incredible.
Hella.